What's going on? I'm back on the YouTube channel. Some of you guys requested that I go through what I'm throwing for the 2026 season, so I'm going to do that. This is sort of my in the bag, but it's also, I'm going to call it the in the car. So I'm also going to go through some of the discs I've been throwing for field work, random stuff that might make the bag or changes that I'm going to make, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So I'll start with the stuff that's in my bag. I'm not actually sure what's in there at the moment, but got some umbrellas. Got to have an umbrella, especially if you live in the South Island of New Zealand. In my actual bag, these are just the discs that I was doing coursework with. So I'll go through what's in my permanent bag. First things first, 3 putting Takapus. These are probably due to be replaced before I go on the Pro Tour. These are getting a little beat in and a little straight, but they're pretty money. I think this plastic beats in quite nicely and almost gets softer. I've got a DX T-Bird 3. So I've got to return to somebody I know. This is not my disc at all. Warm-up band. Very important. I didn't warm up yesterday and now I'm sore. So make sure you warm up, kids. And just towels in the top pocket. In this putter pocket, this is what I'm working with. Flippy Takapu, straight Takapu, which is still kind of flippy, and my stable one. I was throwing these all over Bottle Lake. I think I like when I have a tiny bit more dome on my stable Takapu. When they're like board flat, they beat in to be flippy, but when it's like an imperceptible amount of dome, they actually just stay a little bit more stable for long. And I really like that. So this one has been in there not too long. This is nice and fresh, but I might have to go get another one and chuck it in my bag. But yeah, those are my staples for throwing in the woods. Then the discs I have permanently in my bag. P Waka Waka, this one's super flippy. I pretty much only throw it for like utility, vertical, spike hyzer to fully unscrew kind of shots. And it's pretty insanely flippy. No one else really bags anything like it that I've seen. But it's kind of my utility disc, one of many in my bag. I bag too many utility discs, but they never really get thrown. This one, good fun. Next, I've got a Buzz. This is just because I don't really have a stable Pewok that holds up in the wind, and I don't have a Kortuku that's beaten in enough yet. So this is something that has been useful for a little while, but it might get kicked out of the bag once something better comes along. But it's just a matter of finding that exact disc for me. My Kortukus, these are my babies at the moment. This red one's been in my bag for 5 years. Still got the stamp, like it's pristine, but it's getting a little flippy. Well, flippy, so I can throw it like dead flat as hard as I can, and it kind of just goes straight the entire way and doesn't budge in any wind. So this is like so money at the moment. I've been throwing this all over the Tour Down Under, and I'm sure I'll continue to do that in the States. And it's also good stability where I can replace this really quick with a baseline one if I need to, because a fresh baseline one kind of flies similar to this. And this is my stable Kortuku. This is a premium plastic one. Nothing special about it. It looks pretty cool. I've got a backup for this at home, and it's just pretty stock. There's nothing special about this run. It just looks cool. Nice and stable. I don't really flick a Kortuku, but that could be something I work into my game, because they do feel kind of good if you develop it like for this disc. The bead can be uncomfortable for some people, but I don't mind. Next is my Kia. This is the only one that's permanently in my bag right now, and this is the retool. So when is this one from? This is October 2023. So I've probably had this, a couple years now. and it's still super beefy. That's why I have it in my bag. Doesn't budge in the wind. Really good for short up shots. I can throw it on whatever angle. I can like yank it on Annie and it still flies fine. So that's a good one to have in the bag. St. Pro. This is gonna get kicked out before I go to the States probably. It was in there originally for this one hole in New Zealand that like you start it on a vertical hyzer and it just turns all the way over and holds. But I can kind of do that with a variety of discs now. So it'll go soon. Unfortunate, but it served me well while I was throwing it. This one though is my baby. This is my T-Bird. I got this in 2018, I think. And it's probably only left my bag for a year total since then. I can just throw it like tiny bit of hyzer, pops up, turns a little, and then kind of just dies. Super good. Sometimes I don't like it, but that's when I'm not really in touch with it. But this is a staple in my bag at the moment. What have we got? Peka Peka. This is a really weird slot for me because this is kind of like 3 different rollers, and one of them's kind of in there just because. So this one is my super flippy one, and it is like, it's so understable. If I throw it on hyzer low, like a vertical hyzer, it'll still get over, roll, and then stand up and flat finish right. So that's, again, another utility disc. Kind of fun to throw. I can throw like these 330-foot shots where I throw it vertically on a spike hyzer line, and then it just turns and goes like 300 feet to the right. But that's a really touchy shot. My stable one is this Minty. This one's probably been in my bag too long. It's probably getting a little flippy. Again, I throw it for rollers. I also throw it for turnovers because it's really good in that 400-foot range for my turnovers. And this Minty run is a more stable run, but this one's been in my bag so long, I think it's just like, it's kind of like a new Peka Peka. Well, if you get the right dome on the Peka Pekas. The other one I have in my bag, this is kind of in between. It's pretty flippy for a new Peka Peka, but this is my signature disc. You can pick one up from the RPM website if you want to support me in the States. These are, for me, I don't actually throw it. It's just in there for practice. Sometimes I'll throw rollers with it, but never in tournament. And it's kind of there in case, I don't know, I meet someone and I want to trade with them, or I want to give one away, or whatever. It's kind of just a placeholder for now, but yeah. Next up is this Tata Iti. So this is a Jack O'Sullivan Tour Series one. Again, this one's probably getting a little flippy. But this is one of those discs where if I get like in touch with it and I can really get a good feel for the stability, I can absolutely shred with this disc. But they don't have a lot of glide, so they're kind of good for straight shots where you throw them low and they kind of like flip up, go straight, and then just die. I don't really throw it for wide open shots, and I kind of just defer to a Kortari if I need something more stable. But if I'm throwing really well, these can start to be bombers. Useful disc, but it has to be the right situation. Sometimes I'll throw a good stall shot with this as well. So I'll start it on like a tiny bit of Annie, and it'll just kind of hit 350 and then just die and fall left, but not super far left, just down. That's another useful shot that I can throw with it. Next up are my Kortaris. So I had a question today. I don't throw any stable 9 speeds. Instead I go from the Tata Iti, which is a 10, straight to Kortaris, which are a 12 speed. And it's because I throw these like they're 9 speeds, if that makes sense. So obviously they are a little quicker, But if you watch me play beside someone who's throwing a Firebird or something similar, I'll throw it on the exact same line and get the exact same result. Because these are very low glide, pretty stable, I can kind of get the same result. So this one just flies like a straighter Firebird. I get some flip out of it, but it's still got some integrity. I really like this for forehand, nice and flat. I like these ones flat, even though I like my distance drivers domey, which is really weird. But this one's been in my bag for quite a while. My name's starting to fade from it. And the other one I have, this is a first run. So that other one was the retooled. This is a first run. Wow, this is from before RPM had date wheels, which probably puts it, I want to say 2021 or earlier. This one's super beefy, does not budge in any wind. Like I can throw it on any in a headwind and it just still fades out immediately. It's so stable, but it's kind of my workhorse. And this is what I would throw for like a stable Firebird slot or a stable 9-speed, because it doesn't go far at all. But I really like that. I throw these quite a lot, to be honest, these two. And yeah, they're so good in the wind. Right, last of all, I have my destroyers. So at the moment, I've got 4 that are in my bag, and I'll go through them. So all of these are domey except for this blue one. You can probably hear that heartbeat. This is my super flippy one. If I throw this on forehand, I get it to turn, and I'll throw it on like these insane distance lines, because this probably has the most distance potential out of anything in my bag, and it goes so far. Really good in the woods as well, if I can get the right flip up line on it. And that one's definitely staying in the bag for a little while at least. And it doesn't actually hold up too badly in a wind, unless it's a headwind. All the other winds is kind of fine. Next is Ted. This is I call it Ted because it's Bundy, and you guys probably don't know what that means unless you're from like the South Island of New Zealand. Bundy is just like something that's kind of decrepit or just bad, just kind of gross a little bit. And because I do my own, Sharpie dies, my brother decided to call it Bundy after Ted Bundy, because it's Bundy and it's, yeah. So this is Ted. This one's kind of just in there because it's been in there for a while. It's a little flippy, but it's kind of nice if I've got like a low ceiling. It's not very domey, but like it's still got a heartbeat to it. And I don't know, it's probably going to leave the bag soon because I don't know what I throw it for. So why should it be in there? Next up is, this is my Disco Fever Destroyer. Shout out Casey. I got this as a CTP late last year. Nice and domey again. And this one, actually I lied before. My Flippy Destroyer doesn't have the most distance potential because this one does. If I put everything I have into it, I get more distance than the other one, but the other one's like easier distance. So this one's probably got higher top end. This one's just a really good stability. Like I throw it flat, just turns a little bit and then fades. But I won't throw it in headwinds because it will start to turn a little bit too much. Absolute max distance lines, I'm probably throwing this, or like if I have to throw a hyzer, but it has to go 470 rather than 430, 450, then I'm going to throw this one just to get a little bit of pop on it as I'm throwing that hyzer. Really, really, really useful and versatile disc. This is probably my favorite destroyer at the moment. If I had to keep one, it's probably this, even though that would suck in the wind. Next is, this is my Mikey U destroyer. Nice and stable. It's getting a little bit of pop in it, but I don't mind because if I throw it on hyzer in a headwind, like it might pop up to flat, but oh well, big deal. Still got fade. Just a pretty stock, stable destroyer. I think it is whatever this run of Kelvin Destroyer is. I think these are the same mold. This one's been in my bag for a year. You can see the sun damage on the top versus the bottom. That's what New Zealand UV rays do to a disc. And again, it's just a staple. I throw this quite a lot, especially in the wind. And if I need my forehand to go pretty far, but not like my max distance, I'll throw this because it's a little more reliable. And yeah, it's really solid. Those are all the ones that are in my bag permanently at the moment. So that's my main tray cleared. I'll see what I've got in these other pockets for you. Got some Oreos. I know. They were Cadbury cream egg flavored. Cadbury is an Australian chocolate brand. So, I don't know. Yum, I guess. Nothing really to say about that. I've got some moldy bread that I need to throw out. Jacket. Bag cover. I really like using bag covers when it's rainy. I can't stand having to wash and like dry discs all the time. Well, I guess the rain does the washing, but so that's that pocket. I've also got I love these minis. They're like RPM black with the silver, kind of really iconic New Zealand colors, especially in sports. Love these minis. And I've got one on the other side. Then on this side, I've got raspberry licorice. That's been my go-to recently because it's like I can digest it really easily when I'm playing the course. Nuts and raisins, again, go-to. They're just edible. I've got some spare towels. I like to be prepared for the rain. I hate when it rains, and I hate playing bad in the rain even more, so I'm always prepared. And I've got my dad's rangefinder. I lost my one, but I didn't know where it was. So when I went up north, I got his one off him. And yeah, it's useful. I don't really use a rangefinder. I kind of just feel out the distance of the hole based on how far my discs are going, which is kind of weird, but it works for me. And yeah, that's been clutch a couple times. If I throw a drive like exceptionally good and I don't really know the landing zone, that's always useful. So yeah, that's everything that's kind of in the bag. And now I'll go through all these extra discs that are in this car. Okay, now let's get into the extra stuff in this car. I know. Phone. Got my driver's license. Very important. Got my mic case. And I don't know why, I got a hammer in here as well as some shopping bags. I don't know. Now the interesting stuff, kind of. First of all, I've got spare putting putters. These two are a little fresher. They might be the option for when I switch, but probably not because I probably want something a little fresher. I can feel the working all the way through. And I kind of want a set of 3. This one's a different color stamp and I don't really like that. So probably not going to putt with those, but they're good to have for practice. Backup Takapoos. These two are my flatter ones, so they don't have the same dome that the other one does. Again, most people wouldn't even be able to tell. Actually, this one's alright. This one's flat. Most people wouldn't be able to tell, but I can, and it annoys me when they're not flat. When they are flat. So those are good for field work. So this is the 8K Ace run. So this is a replica series of this first run. They both are the only discs from RPM that use this specific TPU because we had to source them differently during lockdown. Like these are a 2022 run and these are a 2024 run. Yeah. These ones I think are a little more stable in general, but they're also a tiny bit domier. So they don't quite feel as good, but they've got a little bit more integrity. But I think a domey one of these is more stable than any of these, but a flat run of these is similar to these. And these ones, I've kind of used all of these ones. These black ones, the black stamp, I think were the most stable, because again, they got that tiny wee little extra bit of dome. The silver stamps are board flat, and these are what I use for my flippy ones, is the silver stamps. So the one that I wiped was a silver stamp. My current straight one is a silver stamp. This one I've already used as my straight one, but it got too flippy. So silver stamps are great for the flippiness, and I think the black stamps hold the stability a little bit longer. There you go. There's your yellow Takapū lesson for the day. Next is these two Kias. These are pre-retool Kias. Again, no date wheels on them because they're that old. This one's a little flatter. This one's a first run, so it's very old. I noticed over the TDU when I was trying to throw like touch forehands, my current Kia was a little too stable. So I've been trying to find like closer to a straighter stability that I can flick it and have it actually go straight, because my current one doesn't really do that. But this first run's still pretty stable, and this one will probably make the bag before I go to the States. If not this one that flies pretty similar to this. Just again, that straighter Kia flight, but not flippy. I don't want it to be flippy, I want it to be like just a little bit less fade. And the last RPM stuff I've got in here are these two Tuis. This Cosmic one is not pinned with weight. I think it's probably about 140 grams. There you go. And this one is pinned at 210 grams. Like this is a solid disc, and I haven't really found a use for them yet, but I'm sure I will one day. I might make a video about like how the weight affects the discs, I guess. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool when I was at the warehouse that I could find two discs that were so different in the same mold. Yeah. And the rest of this stuff is my fieldwork discs. What have I got? I've got a Cloudbreaker 3. This is kind of a little flippier than my red Destroyer. But again, it's just a fieldwork disc, kind of bombs sometimes. The Venom, this is a TI Venom. I got this in 2023, I think. And this is pretty similar stability to my red one. Yeah, I like this for fieldwork. Probably similar to Destroyers. Like if I wasn't throwing Destroyers, I'd try find more of these because I really like this run in particular. And I've got a D3 in here for fieldwork as well. This one's from Luke Humphreys, so it's pretty nice. Again, pretty similar to my red one, but this one's probably a touch flippier. Similar to the Cloudbreaker. And now the last discs are what I've been collecting recently. These are all stable Destroyers. I'll run through them quickly. This one's from Ben Wheellake. These two are from Calvin Gust, shout out. And this one was from Tall Paul. So these are all stable Destroyers. I'm yet to see how these two fly, but they're all kind of supposed to be the same as my Mikey U Destroyer. And yeah, hopefully they stay stable. Actually, it doesn't matter because that other one's a year old and it's still stable. But these are going to be my workhorses on tour this year. So shout out anyone who gave me one because you're going to see it. You're going to see it on tour. Yeah. And I think that's about it. There's a spacer beneath me, which is always useful, and nothing else. So if you're still here, thanks for watching, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more active on YouTube in the next sort of months before I come to the States. So like, subscribe, follow. I want to see if I can get monetized before I go to the States. So I think it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So you guys know what to do.